DMC 28, the DadMan Chronicles, episode 28. Thanks for hanging out with me. I've been, this past September was my 54th birthday, so I've been thinking a lot because of that and for several other reasons. I've been thinking a lot about, what's coming next. Because at 54 years old, I'm looking ahead and I am 5 years and 8 months from 60. 60 messes with my head a lot. 50, I had a lot of other stuff going on, didn't mess with me too much. 50 messes with me because 60 messes with me because at 60, you can't really convince yourself that you're not getting up there. I feel great. I feel physically great. I feel, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, all that stuff feels good. But I was sitting there and it got me to thinking about all of the stuff that is going to happen in the next 5 or 6 years. Next fall, just in this next, 6 months or so, my oldest goes off to college. So that means in the next 6 years, I'm kind of rounding up a little bit, between now and when I turn 60, let's put it that way, my oldest goes off to college, my stepson will go off to college, my younger daughter goes off to college, and my stepdaughter will go off to college, and my oldest, assuming that she, follows through and sticks to a normal schedule, she will graduate from college. And all of that's between now and when I turn 60. And I'm thinking about, what else is going, there's a lot of stuff. I have 2 businesses right now that are, we're working on keeping those growing and keeping them moving forward. I don't know in 5 or 6 years where that stuff's going to be. We currently live in Oregon. I feel like in about the time that my stepdaughter goes off to college, we will need to be looking at where we want to establish residency other than Oregon, because taxes in Oregon suck. And more specifically, estate taxes in Oregon really suck. And if I were to pass away and be a resident of the state of Oregon, which I have no intention or no thought that I'm going to do by the time I turn 60 by any means, but thinking way in advance for that stuff, that would mean if I passed away in the state of Oregon, that would mean that my kids, my stepkids, I say my kids, that includes my biological children as well as my stepkids, because we are a family. And if I were to pass away in the state of Oregon, my kids would suffer financially. They would be out a lot of money. So at some point in time, we have to look at establishing residence in another state, probably in a 6-year window. Or at least 6 years from now is when we would be in a place where it's time to make that move or thereabouts. But also, my wife will be 46 in 6 years. And, it brings up a lot of questions of how do I continue to be vital and energetic and dynamic now and for the, so that when I'm 60, I am still able to travel and have energy and live a joyous, full, rich, energetic, dynamic life. By God, I am not going to be sitting on a fucking couch. I'm not going to be doing what my parents did. I'm not going to be doing what I've seen so many other people do, which is, slowly decline into this state of decrepitude where I sit on the couch and watch Fox News or something all day long. That's not happening. And so I start thinking about, man, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of big life changes that will happen in the next 6 years. So we're already at another chapter in life. For me, the biggest turn of the page was when I married my current wife. Prior to that, the biggest turn of the page was when I got separated and divorced. And now it's I need to prep. I need to prepare. I want to give conscious thought to making sure that the next 6 years and the hopefully decades of life after that are set up to be fulfilling and enriching and joyous and all the things I want. Like, I see myself, I desperately, knock on wood, I want to be out there traveling with my kids, traveling with my wife, doing cool, fun, and exciting events with my family. I want to live abroad. I want to live in Istanbul. I want to go back to Vietnam. I want to travel the world. Like, I want to photograph stuff all over the world. I want the businesses that I have now to be successful and be thriving in 5 or 6 years. And I'm, so what are the things that I'm scared of? Excuse me, sorry, my throat's all torn up. I just did a big cardio workout last night on the rower, and my throat is wrecked from it. So excuse me if I'm clearing my throat a bunch, but illness is one of the things that scares the shit out of me. I have seen too many people, my age, younger, older, that get hit with cancer, get hit with some shitty, horrible health crisis that brings everything to a screeching halt. Whether it's me, whether it's my wife, whether it's my children, that scares the hell out of me. So illness, infirmity, and I'm not talking about just things like illness and cancer, but also, I could get hit by a car tomorrow. There is no guarantee that as good as I feel right now, I'm going to feel that good in 5 or 6 years. And that scares the hell out of me. There's too much I want to do in this life to want to deal with that kind of stuff. Of course, we all feel that way, but I feel it with deep passion and serious concern. What are my hopes? My hopes, I've made some notes to look at it, thinking about this topic, because there's a lot of stuff. It is a 5-6 year window of time where huge life changes are going to happen. Many pages of the book get written. So my hope, my big hope, between now and then, the things I want to plan for, I want to publish a book. I am half, 2/3 of a way through a book that maybe I want to publish that book, and I have another book idea I would love to explore. I want to continue to reconnect with my photography. I want to continue to connect with travel photography. It's so enriching, so amazing. I want to continue to travel around the world. I want to go back to Vietnam. I want to go back to Laos. I want to go back to Istanbul, and I want to see every place else there is to see out there. I want to see so many places in this world. And not that we'll see all of that in the next 5 or 6 years, but I want to be positioned so that maybe we'll get to do some of that in the immediate future. Some trips we have planned, but looking past that 5 or 6 year window of time, I want to be prepped and ready to go. I want to see the world, and I would really love to see the world, of course, with my kids, with my wife. It's not something I travel on my own, sure, but it's not something I want to do without them. I want them to be there with me as much as possible. Excuse me. Sorry, my throat's a wreck. And I look ahead, one of the notes I made to myself is, what do I want to have experienced by the time I hit 60? And because, here's the thing that bothers me, but also motivates me. I realize that there will come a time when no matter what I do, I will have slowed down, that things will not move as smoothly, body won't work as perfectly, the energy level may drop. I'm going to do everything I can to offset that. Not anytime soon, but maybe sometime in that 5-6 year window. I'm going to be looking into human growth hormone or, testosterone replacement, stuff like that. Like, it's not necessarily a road I want to go down, but if it significantly improves the quality of my life, by God, I'm going to look into it, and I probably will do it. And in the next year, in 2026, we do have two big, amazing family trips lined up. We have a trip going to San Miguel de Allende in Mexico for the Day of the Dead Festival in 2026. That's a photo trip we're all going to go on. And we also are planning on a big trip to Japan for my oldest for her kind of graduation gift. So we are going to do some big, amazing trips as a family, knock on wood. Again, assuming things continue to go smoothly as they have been for just a short period of time now. Our family was supposed to do a big trip at the end of this month, the end of January of 2026. That didn't work out because we were still, up until not too long ago, wrestling with trying to manage my younger daughter's medical issues. Now that's all it seems to be. Again, there's a lot of knocking on wood happening because there's a lot of ifs in this episode. But assuming that her medication continues to do what it's supposed to do and doesn't cause crazy side effects, and we do have these other big trips planned. But I'm sitting here thinking about all the stuff that I want to experience in this life still. And I don't want that to get screwed up. I want to make sure I am in the right place, that I have done everything I can do, that everything I can take control of, every variable I can control, I want to make damn sure that I've done everything I can to prep me to be in the best place possible for that. I mean, we're also, right now, we are, sitting here with a pretty substantial amount of business debt. And we have a 6-year plan to make sure that's paid off. That is on track. It's going well. Again, another if. If the businesses continue in the right direction, that process will accelerate. We'll make money. That's a crazy idea. We'll make money. We'll pay off the debt. Like, things will move in the right direction if all these things work at all like they're supposed to. So I just remember when I was looking ahead at 50, none of this was on my mind. Of course, I had many other things on my mind: divorce, separation, a new relationship, my children. Like, my focus was much more overwhelmed with those things. But I also I didn't feel like, 50, like, it's getting weird, like, but 60 messes with me. So I'm going to do everything I can financially, with my physical health, with my emotional health, with my relationships with my children and my wife, with my businesses, with making sure I'm making all the right moves to protect my financial well-being. So, like, my financial well-being, my physical well-being, my emotional well-being, my spiritual well-being, all of these things are really bouncing around in my head these days, because this is big-time stuff. This is big, game-changing, life-shifting, life-altering stuff. So, what's interesting is I've started playing with ChatGPT to, like, help plan some of this stuff out, help set my kids up for success in college, help plan these big trips. It's a fascinating and incredible tool. And Elon Musk says, depending on what day of the week you hear from Elon Musk, AI is either going to destroy human civilization, or it's going to lead us to a period of unbelievable prosperity. Nobody knows. Literally nobody knows. all that being said, there's a lot of big stuff coming. And I think for you, if you're 40s, 50s, you also are looking at big things coming, whether you're really consciously aware of it or not. It's one of the things my wife is great at is she is always thinking about like the limited time we have with our kids still and stuff before they're off living their own lives. So I am sure you are facing stuff too. So if there are things you want to share, questions, thoughts, whatever, put them in the comments below and we'll talk about it. But here's to some amazing next chapters. Here's to hoping and planning for incredible next chapters in our lives. So, all right, we'll talk soon.